Welcome to iLecture Online. In order to get a better understanding of partial differential equations, let's go ahead and take our familiar wave equation again and see how that indeed satisfies this partial differential equation. So starting out with the graphical part of our wave equation, notice that we have a wave which depends both on the position and time. In other words, the deviation from the x-axis, where any point on the wave is, will depend on both where you are on the x direction and how much time has elapsed. And therefore the equation is equal to a times the sine of kx minus omega t, where a is the amplitude, the largest deviation to the maximum point on the curve, k is 2 pi over lambda, which is the wave number, and omega is the angular frequency, which is 2 pi times the frequency. And then we see that the velocity of the wave is actually equal to omega divided by k. Since omega is 2 pi times the frequency, and k, the wave number, is 2 pi over lambda, the 2 pi's cancel out, the 1 over lambda denominator goes to the numerator, and we know that the wave function, the velocity, is always equal to the frequency times the wavelength. So we can see that this velocity can also be expressed in terms of omega divided by k. So here we have the partial differential equation, which is supposed to represent this particular function, the way it's expressed there. So we're going to try to show that now. So what we need to do is take first the partial derivative of y with respect to x, then take the second partial derivative and do it again, the partial derivative with respect to t, and then we take the second derivative with respect to t, and see what happens. All right, start with the first one. So the partial of y with respect to x is equal to a times k times the cosine of kx minus omega t. So the derivative of the angle gives us k, which goes up here. Now we're going to take the second partial derivative. So the second partial derivative of the function with respect to x is equal to, now when we take the derivative of the cosine, we get the negative sign. The derivative of the angle, we get another k. So this becomes minus a k squared times the sine of kx minus omega t. Now we're going to take the derivative of the function with respect to time. So the partial derivative of y with respect to t is going to be equal to, again, here we get a times the cosine of this, and now we take the derivative of the angle, which gives us a minus omega because it's with respect to t. So that gives us a minus a omega times the cosine of kx minus omega t. And then when we take the second partial derivative of y with respect to time, this is equal to, again, we take the derivative of cosine gives us a negative sign, but then the derivative of angle gives us a negative omega. So negative times negative is positive. We still have a negative here, so it gives us a negative a times omega squared times the sine now of kx minus omega t. So now we're ready to plug that into our differential equation. So let's go over here, give ourselves a little bit more room. The second partial derivative of y with respect to x squared is right here. So on the left side, we end up with a minus a k squared times the sine of kx minus omega t. And that is equal to 1 over v squared. At least it's supposed to be equal to. That's what we're trying to check out. And then the second partial derivative of y with respect to t squared, to t I should say, is equal to this. So minus a omega times the sine of kx minus omega t. All right, so now let's take a look at this equation. We have an a on both sides, so the a cancels out. We have a sine of kx minus omega t, a sine of kx minus omega t, that cancels out. And so we're left with, on the left side, we have a negative and a negative, that cancels out. So on the left side, we end up with a k squared is equal to 1 over v squared times omega, and I forgot my square, didn't I? My omega squared from here, that's omega squared, so I need omega squared right here. And then I can say that when I bring omega down here, k squared divided by omega squared is equal to 1 over v squared. Again, we're simply trying to verify that. We'll see if that happens. Take the square root of this, so we have, or I can just write it like this, k over omega quantity squared is equal to 1 over v quantity squared. And now the question is k over omega equal to 1 over v? And we'll go over here and notice that v was omega over k, which means that 1 over v is equal to k over omega. And that come over here, 1 over v, k over omega. So we know that these are equal to one another. And that means that since this is equal, this equation, this partial differential equation, does describe the wave function as we have it defined over here. So that means that this here, if we plug that into our partial differential equation, that partial differential equation satisfies this equation, or this equation is the solution to this partial differential equation, depending upon how you want to look at it. But now we have verified that this indeed is a correct partial differential equation describing the wave function, the one-dimensional wave function that we have up on the board. And that's how it's done.